People are starting to be recruited. Keep in mind, while the earth is splitting between the digital world and digital reality, which also includes people of salvation or people who needs new world order to kind of like free them, which they're going to come masked, or the others that are working on the new earth who are illuminating all of who they are, which means free sovereign as far as living in spirit, free from all of the conditioning that was given to us. And I'm not talking about like the new agey hyped out people. Those are kind of like people who are working and living in the in-between. And I'm not calling anyone out, but a lot of these new agey communities, they are living in the in-between, which is like almost like saying living in 3.5D. But having said that, because now people who are becoming more aware with their not just their psychic abilities, but their abilities to awaken in their dream state realm, which you would call it the astral realm. They're becoming more conscious. Whether you've done the work or not, what's happening is that, as I said in past videos, for over a year, the veil has been so thin now, you can simply just breathe in and awaken with simple practice. That's why you're starting to see people now with more gifts like telekinesis. They're becoming like really, really profound. You're even seeing now like certain type of telekinesis and psychic games is turning to like the Olympics, is how like how talented many people are. But what does it mean? It's the same as saying I see a lot of talented people in the Olympics, and what does that mean for the state of humanity? You know, this is what makes humanity beautiful, when we're able to celebrate our powers and our gifts. But again, these messages that I tend to work with are I'm speaking to a selective few, and this selective few are people who are forged in the fire of their remembrance, you know, having gone through, I don't want to say because they've gone through and they suffered and this is that and that's this, but these were necessary to help glitch, because we can easily, people like us, we can easily become victimized, you know, because we have no choice but to like give and give and give. So we needed like things like betrayal. We needed to work with narcissism. We needed to work with certain things when it comes to love interest, and depending on each person and each individual journey, we needed to go through a sense of not complying to the standards of relationship or being within the matrix of how we think, even that we think that is actually okay. That needed to actually collapse. Whatever you aspire to do in this world, oftentimes even that needed to collapse, because quite often that made you even small. You're so much bigger than even what your dreams are. I know that sounds crazy, right? So there are people who are putting much focus, you know, and are starting to now awaken to their ancient gifts. That does not mean that they're more advanced at all. But what it does mean is that they can be weaponized. They can be used to help influence and to help people who would normally walk alongside, such as myself or you per se. It's not like we're trying to recruit anyone. I don't care to recruit anybody. And that's the difference between someone who's walking in spirit and true authenticity. What I do is that I choose to help to nudge someone who walks along my path, and if we're in the same junction and I feel led to and they feel led to, oftentimes just simple education. Other times it's working with DNA codes, because my heart chakra and my voice and part of my abilities towards one of my gifts is to help people to accelerate and make conscious a lot of what you would say deemed as latent DNA, or to help to activate more DNA strands within their walk if they have that. I'm not here to activate something that doesn't exist inside that individual, right? And the reason why I'm capable of doing that, it's because that person is already ready to align to that. And what happens is that our connection, again, this is my workings particularly, and these are the type of people or clients that I attract, that connection becomes a catalyst. And just like something happens to them, something happens to myself the same. And oftentimes I only have to meet them like one time, right? And so, and they know they only have to see 1, 2, or 3 times oftentimes, or cyclically sometimes, but it's that one spark. So I'm speaking to those who walk with that spark. And quite often you don't know what to do with it because there wasn't meant for anything for you to do with that spark, simply by existing, simply by living your true, authentic self. So, what's going on here? Most of us, or much of us within our tribe, right? Again, people that are attracted to the video, we don't choose groups. It doesn't make any sense. Or we might dip into it for a second and say, what are we doing? You know, it's like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, I tried and something doesn't feel right. And that's what it is. You are now, at this stage in your life, highly refined, highly attuned, right? To your, the highest sense of your discernment. It means that you discern what is not you quickly. That would make you seem cold, right? Like a samurai with a cold steel blade. I call that a surgeon. I call that precision. I call that, how dare you even attempt to work and to lessen my energy, let's say, right? So instead of going through that how dare you phase, been there, done that 10,000 lives, it's my sword alone becomes the reflection, right? To those who can't even weather my storm in presence, let alone get to know me. That sounded a little egoistic. No, what happens is that those who are walking within their ego construct yet still and not using their ego construct to expand their solar consciousness from within, the light from within, will see what I just said. And the reason why I say that is to also to trigger out and to, that's my way of shutting people out of this video. I eradicate, and sometimes I'll have to speak a certain way because that becomes the seasoning to my stew, and my stew shouldn't be palatable to just anyone, right? Like, you know, this butter pecan Rican here, you know, I'm Caribbean, you know? So my stew should be like specific, and not everybody's gonna want sancocho from Puerto Rico. You feel me? All right, back on track. No, but seriously, right? Not everybody's, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that my seasoning is better than someone else's. What it means is that the flavor of the way that I walk and work with in this reality, the aromas that come from my very existence, my essence, will attract, will augment, will repel, right? It will actually even deter us in making someone angry, or can create some sort of a state of inertia. I could be at a bus stop and I can see how people all around me might get more relaxed, right? Right, because I feel relaxed. And if I don't feel relaxed, they will get more tense. This is almost 10 out of 10 times. And it's because what happens is that our grade of our consciousness, when we are not in alignment, we will attract the next frame of our walk. And those people that are attracted to us will be those people who we just so happen to have seen. So in a sense, it's not that we're controlling the narrative, we're attracting who we are in the moment. And that can create insanity to someone. So that's why someone who's still in their lower mind and they're still working with their emotional state body, if you gave that person more of who they are, more of like an opening of their conscious power, it will kill them or it will drive them to insanity. And all these like spiritual psychosis kind of like situations. And oftentimes that's power by itself when you start going through that, because you feel like now you're going to run this program and thinking that that's actually my journey and I'm still there. That journey has been gone already. Much of us already have graduated from that journey. This is like a wave I'm speaking to, you know, and there's people who are in that yes, and yes. But I'm not speaking to those kind of people because I'm not attracting that kind of like tribe. You see, my tribe changes every season. For every reason. Sometimes I'm not even aware of it. Sometimes I want to hug and hold on to a certain tribe of a collective, and then I have to go through my grieving process, right? And the thing is that it's becoming more and more. I'm actually starting to enjoy the process because it's helping me to reclaim my ability to travel between the 3, 4, and 5, as they would say in a linear sense, right? At least in a numerical sense, as far as people still think that way. So based on what I'm saying, and based on my experiences, other people are tapping into, in their way, their experiences, right? So there are factions out there, I don't want to mention them, but I've said them in past videos, that are attempting and are succeeding in recruiting people such as us. So obviously they cannot recruit me, so they will recruit people within my monadic tribe, people within my my field of subcategories of my soul, right? And whatnot. And like almost like a version of me 10 years ago. I would have been like all up on it, right? And I would have learned the hard way as to getting out of it, and it becomes another life lesson. So I know there's like group 7 and there's like all these other groups, and you're starting to attract people who are within the, again, they're like highly egoic, highly narcissistic, but also gifted, and they're getting these kind of like these certain type of a people that's attracting, because people are needing. This is part of the equation of how they constructed our needing to be needed, you know, because it's a human response, it's a human instinct, and many of us are still not able yet to deconstruct and dismantle that actual DNA code network that was embedded into us through our genetic ancestral line. So it's time to be the author of your own body, your own intelligence, and you must be able to, in your own way, command, because you're never going to be able to walk out of it, right? There comes a time where you have to walk healed. Otherwise, you're still in your healing journey. Even past videos, maybe 6 months to a year ago, I was probably saying it for myself, right? So again, I quantum leaped and I quantum traveled within my state of reality within 6 months, right? So many times before that, but I wasn't able to be, I would have got nauseous if I was conscious of the way I kept dismantling my realities to allow for new versions of me to be reborn. It would have been too much for me. So that was a sense of protection, and it's okay. So I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing, because it could be a protection for people who still need to belong. But just to let you know that none of it is completely organic just by human to human. It's not like me opening up a group alone. Well, I'll give you an example. Let's say I do that. I'm group, well, there's already group 7. So let's call me 8.5. I'm group 8.5, right? And I do it, and people follow my videos, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, and I'll start putting out exactly why you should be in that group 8.5. And let's say it came to me from a very highly organic place. It came from me within a dream. And it might not be as big as group 7. Okay, good. That makes us a little bit more special. Right? And then now within the next 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, I got a couple of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of followers, right, to working with me. And I'm not calling myself a leader. I'm just myself. This is what happens. Is that just by saying that, me knowing, even it sounds funny, me saying it, that's why it sounds like satire. It sounds like humor. It's my flag of saying that there's something off. Why is there something off? For me to have to be able to initiate such a group in that way, right? Just hear me out. It's perspective. It's not all truth or false, okay? But in that way, what happens is that I invite faction to enter the 4D, because I'm not as evolved as I feel that I am. So now I'm attracting friends that remember me in the 4D. That's pretty high compared to several years ago, or me growing up. That's like pretty high. It's like saying like, wow, we're starting to meet up with people in the astral realm, and we're actually having board meetings there. Right? We're learning how to be the technology of what science already does. They've been doing this for a very long time. And now naturally, some of us are able to do it without social media. We're remembering. So this is growth. So there are very subtle, intelligent factions that have been doing this for thousands of years. This is not new technology. They use psychology, they use biology, they also use quantum how do you say, science that works, that according to them it's being developed now. No, that's a fallacy. No, it's network engineering. There's like certain bio levels of engineering. It's actual schooling and specialties, right? AM, FM technology, as I said in past videos, and also like that Bluetooth technology, Wi-Fi technology, all that technology that deals with the Ethernet. You see, what they fail to tell you in anatomy and physiology in school, if you studied medicine or you studied any field of biology, what they cut out is that your anatomy and physiology includes your aura. It's not tree-hugging mysticism. It's a biosphere. It's a toroidal field. It's measurable, And just like extracting data from the ethers or the Ethernet, which is quantum and biological computing, they're actually taking information from a library, from another person, from anything, and then this is where you're getting it from AI. It's coming from the air, right? So you also are now the router. You're like the mitochondria of the cellular structure of the ethers, and you forgot that. You forgot that you were part of the ethers because you were told that heaven was far away from you. So you're disempowered, as in a general sense. So now they're empowering you by creating these groups. This is like simple CIA stuff, man. This is not even before CIA. Art of War, man. Sun Tzu, the Art of War, man. They're like to be able to create even villages of peaceful people. And then from these peaceful people like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 generations were born now, let's say. So now all we know is what we know based on our own family and the science that was taught to us. And yet it was orchestrated intelligently by these factions that have been around for millennia. They have died and rebirthed and taken on many forms. They're so smart. They're so smart. The thing is that I can do that. And you can too if you just sat out there. You know, knowing that when I die, I'll create a network, right? To remind me. When I die, right before I die, I'll create a sort of a legacy. And then I'll recruit myself along with other factions, right, that are out there that you can read about. And I'll work within their algorithm to help me to evolve so that I can keep reincarnating those fractions of me that I needed to, because my life is terminating now. I'm 80 or 90 years old. This is old, dude. Old. And it's more advanced than what I'm saying. So much more. So the wealthiest of the wealthiest of the wealthiest, they're the same puppets. They're the puppets, right? In the astral realm to higher entities. I mean, you name it. I mean, I'll umbrella it as Anunnaki, but Anunnaki means the ether beings or the sky beings. So they could be so many other beings, not just the Anunnaki, but you know, you have, like I said before, Draconians, you have reptilians, you have all these other beings, you know. Oftentimes I don't even care to study all of that because it's irrelevant for me. To be honest, because many of us actually have those DNA strands and we're here to evolve. And once we start to evolve our natural strands to our evolution, we have a choice to evolve. You know, some of us are still choosing not to. If you're still meeting somebody who's still working on narcissism, betrayal protocols, right? Knocking somebody out energetically, the mimicking system, right? And it's happening now during Mother Earth's ascension. These are people who are choosing consciously not to awaken. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment brought onto them. That's in their time. That's fine. I'm just putting that on I'm just putting that out there. But just be aware that, of course, it's happened to me several times. I had very high-ranking agencies reach out to me and attempt to recruit me subtly through social media, and not so subtly in my sleeping realm. And they're very good. It's taken me some time to kind of like decode the encrypted messages that they were sending me, that they made it obvious that it was them, and they kind of like want you part of their team. They actually want you for their greater good. And you know, maybe they do feel like it's for their greater good, but that goes in tangent to where I know my DNA is actually working with. And that puts a lot of these agencies in complete fear, because these agencies are part of the faction the same. You feel what I'm saying? It's not that hard to interlace your reality or one's reality in an entire system. The technology is you. If people are capable of erasing your mind, you are capable and able to do the same to others. And that's why you are the most scariest being that you know. And that's why you're scary. If you truly awaken and you don't awaken and to your highest self, and you awaken to maybe a dark side of you that you were maybe in a past life, then you will be scary. You know, you could be unstoppable, because they can kill someone like me in flesh, but I don't die. And this time around, I remembered my ancient technology so that I can equate that once I'm out of my vessel, my beautiful vessel, I know exactly what the next transitory phase is. Why? Because I was able to remember the blueprint architecture within that, through betrayal, through all these like horrible things that I went through my entire life. I mean, I'm talking about even betrayal from being a son from my mom. She wasn't conscious of that, but it was a program that I was running. So I'm not pointing any fingers out to anybody out there, but in the sense that I would have been attracting anybody to betray me because there was something I needed to see myself, because I was betraying myself. And now I can gobble that up, and seriously gobble that up, because now I'm starting to see the actual light codes even within a dark scenario such as that. And now I'm able to dismantle, deprogram, and reprogram. I still get the feelings that come to me, and stuff still happens to me because I'm still working on my human experience. But again, now a lot of it doesn't belong to me. A lot of it belongs to me if I'm not working on my protection shield as I walk, or my ability to discern. There are other ways of calling discernment, but I'm saying discernment because that's how we are like grown to hear it. But to be able to transcend binary codes with every moment, right, by simply tapping into our quantum computer. It's no different than the technology of a computer, like a physical computer. And it has to happen in layers. And these systems are meant to pressurize your body, because if I physically died and ended my life because of a betrayal, or my emotional state body doesn't allow me to move onward through for different reasons, maybe it's through finance or through health, and it remains like that, and I'm not able to work with that, my higher self of where, let's say, where I'm working with now, it wouldn't function. It would erode the system. So these systems right here that I needed to work with in my timeline were systems kind of like Play-Doh. It's like learning how to be a master at playing with Play-Doh. Now that I could say that in the moment. But when you're in that mix, oh my gosh, you might as well just say it's cement about to dry, and you feel like you're never going to go there, and it could take decades, right? But decades or even 10,000 lives, it is the blink of an eye to someone who's eternal. And I'm here to remind you that you are an eternal being. Every time I speak of something like this, my phone drains and it dies every single time. So every single one of you, you're eternal, and that's why oftentimes you come here to generate new stimuli, and when I say stimuli, I mean somatic experiences with emotions, with the refinement of the lower mind. And why is that? It's because this is, again, arguably the only planet where you can experience such density. But I'm going to tell you right now, that's not natural. These schools were also created. You see, they said it was God because they needed you. Religion needs you to. All religion needs you to. Even politics, they all want you to and need you to see that the creator of all creators actually is it's actually their creation, their conscious idea, and every single one of us, we're feeding that. Source is within, and the source that created here, like the Lego blocks of the unnatural imbalances that makes Mother Earth 3D, that's not natural, are very evolved beings, are kind of like, I want to say, future versions of us, but at the same time you could say they're versions of us from the past, because the past and the future is the same. It's like a toroidal field of seeing. To be able to see as an eye, it means 365 degrees, and to be able to see things now almost like the shape of a donut, but more of almost like shaped like an apple. And if you're able to see that way, then you're able to start sending your technology into 4D. Think of yourself as a gamer, and a lot of people are now tapping into that ability. And because of that, that doesn't always mean that you're more advanced than someone else. No, there are more people, there are beings here that are so much more advanced. I think they're scared of themselves, so they choose just to live a fruitful or like a passive life. I don't blame them, because your subconscious mind is doing so much more. And once you start to advance consciously, like I'm speaking now with all these gifts, sometimes even that's going to get more in the way, because now you're going to have all the answers a lot more. And that's what's needed in this world. Yes. But at the same time, it's not that hard to tip the scale for someone who knows the answers. You want to know the secret? When you meet someone who they would call or deem as a chosen one, a true chosen one, it's like less than 0 point something % of the world. if whatever you want to say. And I don't mean it's an actual person, but it's Christ code collective consciousness. It's they call that the 12 D or the 12 Shield Maharata technology that was created by Christ, right? The conscious collective. He was never a human being. He was a remembrance. Where is she now? Where is she? So the 12 strands give you 24 strands. So again, within our even Christ conscious experience, that's why we keep expanding, because Christ, the biblical Jesus, had developed or was able to reconstruct his 12 strands. So he was and is, if you want to go by that structure, everywhere. He's like everything and nothing at the same time. That's why as soon as you label it as Christ, all you're doing is labeling a certain frequency that he's working within an octave, within, let's say, 1,000,000 suns within that octave, right? But there's several octaves of dimensions of reality beyond the speakable. You would have to literally blow yourself up and become consciousness once again, to no longer breathe, but to become the creator of breath within the co-creation of your experience, to break within the fragmented illusion of this sigil, of this labyrinth you call life. And once you remember how to dismantle and re-alchemize something new, then you will remember your quantum technology to work with different quantum realities that people are calling different planets or different spaces, or now they're saying it's in different parts of the earth. It doesn't matter. They all exist within you. And yes, you have the technology to work on the octaves of different family soul tribes to interconnect balances and imbalances, because when they say that we're all interconnected and we are all one, it's beyond the experiences of anything from this life, from birth, even until it's your time to go. So I'm not playing with fire anymore, man. I am the fire, and you don't get burned when you're the fire too. You feel what I'm saying? If or when you're ready and you are in alignment, I'm ready the same. It's time for us to galvanize. I say that all the time. And it's time for us to say and be what we came here to say and be. I can't tell you about you unless you book with me, and all I'm doing is like helping to amplify what you already know. Sometimes still embedded within your subconscious, sometimes in your unconscious. And yes, if it's within your DNA spread and you're just not able to place it together, let's do this. I'm ready. I'm ready.